All right, we're going to recap today's Preakness Stakes, and I have had a few drinks and it is late, so bear with me here. Going into this race, you had about 8 different speed horses on paper, but 2 of them were clearly the speed of the speed. The number 10, Napoleon Solo, when he won the Champagne Stakes as a 2-year-old, he went 107 and change for 6 furlongs and still stayed on to win that race by a wide margin. And you had the number 1, Taj Mahal, who actually got bet down to favorite. Taj Mahal was a post-time favorite in this race, and he's only got one way to go, and it's on the front end. And when you're the favorite, you're not going to change your style up. You're going to go take it to him. There were about 6 other speed horses in the race, and I think the connections of those horses kind of knew that they didn't have the speed to go early. And they opted to, try to revert the running style of their horses, take them in hand, have some dirt kicked in their face and see if they can outfinish closers. And you look at a horse like the 11 Corona de Oro, Johnny Velasquez on him. That was a horse in his 2 route races, was loose on the early lead both times. And even in his 6 furlong sprint races, he was just 2 lengths back early. But in this Preakness, Johnny V took him in hand and he had him positioned back with Ocelli early. I mean, that horse is not going to outfinish Ocelli. He's a speed horse. He's got to go. And that just never works with a speed horse. The way this race looked going in, we were kind of wondering if it would be won in under 2 minutes time. It's only 1 mile and 3/16, but they did manage to go 1:58 and 3. Napoleon Solo won it with 1.30 seconds to spare under the 2-minute mark. And he is a talented horse, and, we've been a fan of his. But anyway, without any further ado, we're going to watch the replay of the race now. All right, Napoleon Solo's the 10, Taj Mahal's the 1. Those are the 2 quick horses. Both of them are going to go early. Paco's going to wisely let the 1 go and just hope he can see out the distance, and that plan worked out perfectly for him. Watch the 11 Corona de Oro, just a speed horse. Johnny V takes him in hand. He's back with Ocelli early.
The Preakness is 24th time. Here we go. And they're off in Preakness 151. It looked to be a great start. And out to the lead. There goes Taj Mahal. Sheldon Russell says go early on Taj Mahal. Napoleon Solo is next, and Chip Honcho away running in 3rd position. Iron Honor is next in 4th, caught 4 wide around the turn. Robusta gets an inside run. Talkin' is right there in the thick of things in between horses as they round that turn. Followed by Great White and Pretty Boy Maya. Corona de Oro is a good dozen lengths off the early speed. The Hell We Did is racing in the 2 path on the outside of Ocelli. After that comes Crupper to the back of the pack. Incredible is second last at this point, and Bull by the Horns is the trailer. As they move now with 6 furlongs left to go. The opening quarter whipped up 22 3/5 of a second. Taj Mahal going for it with speed. Napoleon Solo spies the leader from second. And next is Chip Honcho. The orange cap is racing in 3rd. Talkin' is 4th. Iron Honor in good striking range 5th, while 3 deep down the backstretch 1. And then it is Great White, who's in between horses. Then on the inside, next in line, pushed along for a little more, comes Robusta. In the meantime, Corona de Oro's out 3 wide in the clear. The Hell We Did tries to rally, ridden along 8 lengths from the front. They're followed by Ocelli, who's next. Incredible is still second to last at this point as they round the far turn. Into the turn they roll in less than 3/8 to run. And Taj Mahal's desperate to hang on the lead as Napoleon Solo cruises right on by. Napoleon Solo with 1/4 mile to run, and they're homeward bound. And here comes Iron Honor on the outside. Chip Honcho right there. Taj Mahal continues to battle down to the inside. A gap of 5 lengths back. Ocelli is trying to pick up. Incredible. It's way out of the middle of the track with a lot to do. Napoleon Solo. Napoleon Solo is the leader from Iron Honor in Preakness 151. And Napoleon Solo bounding with Paco Lopez to the line. It's a 2.5 length lead. Napoleon Solo will win Preakness 151, a length and a half from Iron Honor second. Chip Honcho was 3rd. Ocelli 4th. Incredible was 5th. And then Bull by the Horns.
All right, so there was no fight for the early lead in this race. The 1 is going to go and defend his rail position. Sheldon Russell's basically not sending him. He's just taken off. And Paco here staying a couple paths. He doesn't want to engage the 1, doesn't want to pressure him, but he's clear second. He's in a position where he's not taking any kickback. There's no dirt being kicked in his face. He's got a good hold. He's letting the 1 go. And I think Paco had to feel like he's got superior speed to the 1. He could just, anytime he wants, he can move. I mean, this is a horse that's gone 107 and change for 6 furlongs. So you got the one in front, 22-3 for the first quarter. That's a wickedly fast first quarter for the distance. But this is with everyone rating their horses. There's no pressure. There's no fight for the front end. Even here, Paco's not looking him in the eye. He's got a good hold of Napoleon Solo. Hasn't engaged yet. So you got very fast fractions for this distance, but no pressure. There's no fight for the lead on the front end. And right here, you're going to see Paco just kind of inhale Taj Mahal. He's going to start looking around. There's one look. There's two looks. Paco takes like 7 looks. He's just looking all over. He looked at his inside there. He is just looking around for competition. Has Napoleon Solo in hand. That's 5 looks, 6 looks. He looked to his outside, looked back to his inside. That's 8 looks. He has looked around 8 different times. There's 9 looks. He's yet to hit the horse or ask the horse. He's just kind of cruising. And now he sees Iron Honor, the Chad Brown horse here, who right here looks like a dangerous threat. He switched to the wrong lead. That is a sign of a horse that is extremely tired and fatigued. So Iron Honor finishes on the wrong lead, still gaining a little bit on him at the end, but this was a race that just had so much speed in it, but no one wanted to go out and fight for the lead. Yes, the fractions were very fast, 22-3 first quarter, and the final time was 1:58.69, which is quite slow, but there was no fight. There was no battle for the lead. Fractions were hot, but it was not a contested pace. And, if you were kind of hoping for a pace meltdown in this race, you needed these horses to fight on the front end. That did not happen. But anyway, hats off to Napoleon Solo. He is a very talented horse. Going into this race, clearly you had to say he was the most talented horse in the field. He had some foot issues, got scratched from the Arkansas Derby, had to train into the Wood Memorial in an egg bar shoe, actually ran in the Wood Memorial in an egg bar shoe. The foot bruise got healed up. He got back in his old shoes and was turning in some tremendous workouts going into this race. The only question was, would he be able to see out the 9.5 furlong distance? And he certainly did see it out against that field. Now, you wonder if there were some better closers in there, what would have happened, but you just got to take your hats off to Paco and Napoleon Solo. It was a good ride. He had his face clean the whole way. Paco waited as long as he could to pull the trigger. And Napoleon Solo was able to see out the distance. And heck, he saw it out in under 2 minutes. We're kind of being a little bit disparaging here. 1 3/16 races should always be running under 2 minutes. But this was not exactly a star-studded Preakness field here. And Napoleon Solo, most talented horse going into the race. You got to credit the rider at Taj Mahal. At least he defended his rail position, gave his horse a chance. But when Napoleon Solo came to him and just put him away, that broke his heart. The second place finisher, Irish Honor, was very well managed by Chad Brown and was in a position where maybe he could have won, except this horse just really doesn't want to go that far. You saw that with the late lead change. That's a sign of a horse that's just exhausted and spent. He ran his heart out, but you saw him in mid-stretch there switch to the wrong lead, and he was even gaining on the winner a little bit while on the wrong lead, but Irish Honor is going to want to go distances a little shorter than 1 3/16, and he might be all right. And Napoleon Solo is going to the Haskell next, and he's a brilliant horse. Look how he won the Champagne at 1 mile. That was a phenomenal win. Maybe as good a performance as any 2-year-old last year. I think it's very smart and realistic for the connections of Napoleon Solo to, rather than going to the Belmont 1.25 miles at Saratoga, to point for the Haskell at 1 1/8 miles. Chip Honcho run pretty darn well to finish third. You're going to want him when he's in a race where he can get to the early lead. He was never going to get to the early lead in this race. Jose Ortiz knew it. And I thought Chip Honcho settled better in this race than he had in his previous races where he's been off the pace. But that horse is a front runner, and when he catches a paceless field, you're going to see the best version of Chip Honcho in that situation. And of course, your 4th and 5th place finishers were the 2 closers, the Maiden Ocelli and Incredible. And they are who they are. Those were both horses that I couldn't dismiss fast enough in the Kentucky Derby. But in this race, I just hoped that there was going to be this war on the front end, and that war never developed. Sure, the fractions were fast. You had 2 extremely fast horses in this race. They carved out those fast fractions under strong holds. Sheldon Russell had a strong hold of Taj Mahal, and Paco had a full Nelson hold of Napoleon Solo. and he purposely kept him a couple paths wider than Taj Mahal early, just so Napoleon Solo wouldn't, seed Taj Mahal and get too keyed up right away. But that was this year's Preakness, and, you got to say the best horse won. Clearly the best horse won there. So anyway, that was the Preakness. It was won by Napoleon Solo. He did manage to win it in under 2 minutes. He is coming back in the Haskell. He's a horse with a lot of raw talent. He's obviously got blazing early speed. He can rate. He proved that he can rate in this race. So maybe going a mile and an eighth in the Haskell. Monmouth a lot of times is very speed-friendly track. Napoleon Solo could be formidable in that race, but, going a mile and a quarter, I wouldn't want him against, some of the better 3-year-olds. But hats off to him. Napoleon Solo, very talented horse, and he was your Preakness winner. Irish Honor had dead aim, went to the wrong lead. He's going to want to go shorter distances. Third place finisher Chip Honcho is going to want to find a race where he could get to the early lead, and I think he'll be very tough in whatever that race will be. And fourth and fifth place finishers, Oselli and Incredible, they are who they are. Oselli's still a maiden. He'll definitely beat maidens if they put him in with maidens. But anyway, that was your Preakness Stakes run today. I wish I wouldn't have foreseen a pace collapse in this race because, Napoleon Solo I picked as my fourth choice. But I did say that, if his speed was going to win the race, obviously it was going to be him. And Irish Honor was my second pick in the race, but, he just can't go that far. He run a good race, but you see him switching to the wrong lead there. He was an exhausted horse the last 16th and was still gaining a little bit on the winner. And the two closers, they clearly came up short without the vet work. And, even if they did have the vet work, I don't know if that would have made too much of a difference. And it was Napoleon Solo, and like the t-shirt here says, real winners finish in under 2 minutes. And thank God this Preakness was won in under 2 minutes. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching.